Holy moly. Elon just literally broke the internet with the following tweet. Time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. This is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald Trump. Elon just literally broke the mother frickin' internet. In today's show, I'll be sharing the latest Bitcoin technical analysis, as well as Trump media files for a spot Bitcoin ETF approval from the SEC for their own company. Also, California advances their bill on unclaimed crypto and merchant payments. We'll also be discussing a Bitcoin supply shock incoming, as we now have the least amount of Bitcoin we have seen on the exchanges since 2018. We'll also be discussing crypto leverage trader James Nguyen loses another 25 million on his Bitcoin bet, as well as is Elon going full Bitcoin maximalist? Well, according to the high priest of Bitcoin, Max Keiser, that's precisely what he is doing. He says Trump's plan: remove the debt ceiling, print trillions of dollars, see the Bitcoin price smash 1 million, then buy billions in Bitcoin. And right now, Trump and Elon are literally at war, online and publicly. We'll be covering all this plus so much more in today's show. If you're new to the channel, very important, smash the likes, go ahead, subscribe, then ring the bell, turn on notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, 7 days a week, just like this. Today is pod episode 2013. I'm your host, JV. It's June 5th, 2025. Lots of drama and controversy out there. Trump is at war with Elon publicly. Right now, Elon just called out Trump for being on the PDF file list of Epstein. Holy shit. And Max Keiser says Elon's on the cusp of becoming a full-blown Bitcoin maximalist. We will be discussing all of this, but we got to start here with the market watch of the day and checking out Coin 360 broskies. We have Bitcoin correcting down 3% on the day, trading above 1013 at the time of the live stream. Ether is the big loser, down 5%, trading back under 2,500, while XRP, Cardano, Tron, and the bulk of the entire crypto market correcting and in the red. And checking out the infamous CoinMarketCap.com. We're currently sitting at a 3.18 trillion market cap. The all-time high is 3.75 trillion. Unfortunately, we're back on the decline. Silver lining, Bitcoin market cap still above 2 trillion. We got roughly 117 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance 63.4%, with Ether dominance 9.4%. And checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours, very modest gains. Monero leading the pack, up less than 2%. And DEXY up 1% as the bulk of the market is correcting and in the red. And checking out the infamous crypto bubbles, we get a visual perspective on the day. Unfortunately, it's all going to be red. Exactly. It's like, shit, 98% of the market in the red. Rec City. Zooming out for the week, a very similar scenario. Rec City. Zooming out for the month. Take that back. We're in the green. Half in the green, half in the red. Dead in the middle of little did we know that we riddles a middleman who didn't do diddly. No diddy. And checking out the infamous Crypto Greed Info Index. Today we're at 57 greed. Yesterday is 62. Last week at 74. And last month of 59. But we got to check out the infamous time chain calendar, JV. So pull her up, please, with the nip. That's right. We're about to cross the coveted 900,000th block for the Bitcoin blockchain. We're currently on number 899,921. We have 150,000 blocks until the halving of 2028. And as of today, you can exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 985 sats. So you know what to do. Pick up the sats, put down the gats, and pick up some Bitcoin caps from my man Sergio over at BitcoinCaps.net. Let's dive into our TA, aka astrology for the broskies. And of course, shout out to the bitty baddies. But after the infamous freeze frame, the headline here reads, Bitcoin hash ribbons metric just delivered the third buy signal of 2025. Nibinator indicator on full effect. That's right. The Bitcoin miner performance is still telling market participants to buy the bitty, despite the price hitting new all-time highs on May 22nd. It was literally 2 weeks ago. We hit the coveted 112 current all-time high. Now, the hash ribbons, if you're not familiar with it, measures the 30, 60-day moving average of a hash rate and says even the current prices represent the long-term buying opportunity. Quoting Crypto Quant, it is not a big surprise considering the hash rate has recently reached new all-time highs. Now, hash ribbons has an impressive track record, that's for sure, catching long-term price bottoms, then has delivered the buy signals relatively rarely. In a post, Dark Faust observed that this time around, little attention is being paid to the indicator. All eyes on Nippinator indicator. Go figure. Bottom line, this signal is telling you that buying the dip around here is a smart move. Buying every dip is a smart move if you're in it for the long haul, just FYI. But anyways, meanwhile, miners' Bitcoin reserves are staying more or less flat through the 2025 after sustained selling throughout last year. Coins in known miner wallets total 1.8 million BTC as of June 4th. Also, large volume investors have seized the opportunity to lock in profits at all-time highs. Now, checking out the week on chain, Glassnode used the 90-day simple moving average of hodlers' realized profits to compare the profit taken intensity across cycles on the apple-to-apples basis. A clear trend emerges. Profit taken has grown less euphoric over time, reflecting the broader degraduation to cyclical upside performance and lower volatility profiles as the market structures, as outlined here in the chart. And I am going to pull up the live charts, and of course, we are going to be discussing Elon and Trump in more detail, but you got to stick around for that. We always save the best for last. I do got a lot of news to get through, very relevant here in the Bitcoin sphere. So we're going to focus on that first, just FYI. But do note, our featured story is quoting Max Keiser. He believes Elon's on the cusp of becoming a full-blown Bitcoin maximalist, which means all in on the biddy, world's richest man on paper. So we're going to have a great conversation surrounding this. Shout out to your high priest, your holiness, Max Keiser. But first, let's pull up some of the live charts. We'll do a little live chart action. Jackson satisfaction, Bo Jackson for the broskies, of course. And we'll start with the 1 hour chart and we'll work our way back. Bitcoin's currently correcting, big dip today. We've been corrective since this morning. We're currently holding on to 101.1 as per the screen. You're looking at a live chart via Coinbase, via TradingView. We do have a bull target though in the red, which is right above the all-time high, 112.5, which would send us back to price discovery. Let me know when you feel we'll likely re-enter price discovery. Do you think it'll be this week, next week? Holla at your boy. And checking out the 4 hour. The 4 hour chart, also big red candle. 3 consecutive, unfortunately, since this morning. We also have a red target in the bull zone, though, sitting at 112 as well. But there is a falling wedge, so we may continue to correct. Will 100 hold is a pretty good question. It may be the line in the sand as it's a psychological support. You feel me? But you guys let me know your thoughts on that. And zooming out a little further, let's check out the daily, then we'll check out the weekly and the monthly. And as you can see here on the daily, big red corrective candle on the day. We were just at 106 yesterday, ironic enough. So that's like a half a god candle descending. 2 bear scenarios in play, so bearish I won't even entertain. And zooming out, you know how it is. And zooming out from there, we'll check out the weekly. I'm not Peter Schiff. My name ain't Jim Cramer. It's not Dan Pena. And it's not Garrett Soloway. And we're going to keep it that way. Checking out, this is actually the monthly. We skipped the weekly. We'll go back to the weekly. But you can see the month of May and April, we had green candle closes. But thus far for the month of June, it's now corrective after today's $5,000 drop. No particular targets on the monthly. So let's just take a quick glance at the weekly. Now, we did have 7 green consecutive weekly candle closes, which is beautiful. But we did just get the corrective candle close on Sunday. And thus far, if things don't turn around fast, it looks like we'll have another red candle print for the week. But we do have a rising wedgie, the only wedgie I approve of. And we still have the 124,000 cup and handle target on screen. So let me know where you feel the pretty little bitty likely to take us next before we dive into our next story of the day. Next headline. Trump media filed for the spot Bitcoin ETF. Approval from the SEC won't let Trump be. But now without Gary G., they let Nipsey free. That's right. Here's the proof. President Trump's Truth Social files the S1 form for the Bitcoin ETF. And it'll probably get approved in no time as obviously all the pro-Bitcoin folks are in town. And pro-crypto, I should say, at least for the United States. So yeah, Trump Media, the company majority owned by U.S. President Trump that runs the Truth Social platform, filed with the U.S. SEC to launch a Bitcoin ETF. TMTG filed an initial registration statement on Form S1 for the Truth Social Bitcoin ETF June 5th. According to the announcement, here's what it reads. The assets of the trust consist primarily of Bitcoin held by a custodian on behalf of the trust. The trust seeks to reflect generally the performance of the price of the pretty little bitty going up forever JV. The filing comes after the stock exchange NYSE ACRA submitted a proposal for the SEC to list the Truth Social Bitcoin ETF on behalf of the crypto asset manager Yorkville American Digital, partner of the TMTG and the owner of Truth Social. If approved, the Truth Social Bitcoin ETF will see crypto exchange Crypto.com act as the exclusive custodian, prime execution agent, and liquidity provider. The ETF is part of the increasing number of the crypto products seeking regulatory approval in the United States of the Nippinator. The new fund features exclusivity clauses. According to the filing, Crypto.com will offer certain services exclusively to trust behind the product. The product fees are still to be determined. Is there front running going on? Accordingly, there is. Reverses the right for the ETF sponsors to front run transactions. According to the document, prospective shareholders should be aware such persons that take positions in Bitcoin which are the opposite or ahead of the positions taken for the trust, there can be no assurance that any of the foregoing will not have an adverse effect on the performance of the trust. And while many Bitcoin ETF filings acknowledge potential conflicts of interest, they typically include measures to mitigate such conflicts. Do you think the POTUS of the United States launching his own Bitcoin ETF is a conflict of interest? Yay or nay? Holla. And in the case of a fork, ETF holders will also have no right to the corresponding asset. Keep that in mind. As explained, the sponsor will cause the trust to permanently and irrevocably abandon the incidental rights. Not your keys, not your cheese. So you ultimately get an IOU saying you have some exposure to Bitcoin, but you never hold the underlying asset, and that's the bigger picture. And that's why Bitcoin hardcore maxis, such as the Nippinator, will say just hold the fucking underlying asset. Otherwise, you're just getting an IOU at the end of the day. And if you don't know, maybe you'll figure it out one day, and we'll leave it at that. Next up, let's discuss California. We'll get through this one quickly. California advanced the bill on unclaimed crypto and merchant payments. This is breaking just in. California's lower house passed a sweeping crypto payments regulating bill, which would allow the state to take idle crypto holdings from the exchanges. So my understanding is if the crypto remains on the exchange for 3 years, the government has the power to take it. That's the bill they just proposed. So I'm going to remind everyone again, not your keys, not your cheese. Only keep on the exchanges what you can afford to lose. You do not own the cryptocurrency on the exchange. You have temporary access to it. If you don't have the private keys, it's not your cheese. Hence, not your keys, not your cheese. Just a reminder. Just in Bitcoin laws, California Assembly passed a bill to regulate digital assets under the unclaimed property law. The bill now moves to the Senate. The law explained assets left on the exchange for 3 years will be transferred to the state. So if you have parents, be like, yo, mom, please don't keep your Bitcoin on the motherfucking exchange. The state's going to end up with it, for Christ's sake, or the government. We don't want that now, do we, mama? And teach her how to properly self-custody her Bitcoin. It's the least you can do as a good son. Just saying. The bill now heads to California Senate. Oh, great. It can be rejected or passed by Governor Gavin Newsom. I would deem they would accept that bill because they want the free crypto, but you tell me your thoughts. Opinions on the new legislation have been mixed across social media. All I know is if California is up to something, don't trust them, is all I'm saying. What it does is update the unclaimed property law, so when your Bitcoin's turned over as unclaimed property from the exchange, it stays in the form of Bitcoin rather than liquidated. Then you can get it back from California. Yeah, and I trust California as much as I trust Jeffrey Epstein, just saying. But instead of selling your Bitcoin after 3 years of inactivity, custodians must transfer your actual Bitcoin to a licensed custodian. But anyways, obviously lots of controversy on these laws. You guys let me know your thoughts. And quoting Dennis Porter, he says, most states have unclaimed property laws to exchange to comply with. It's returned to the owner when the owner reaches out of state. I mean, that's according to actually Haley Lennon, former regulatory counsel of the crypto exchange Coinbase. But you let me know your thoughts on that. In my opinion, California, it's a fallen state as far as the government's concerned. It's awful, maybe the worst governor in history, Newsom. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I don't trust them. But next story of the day, we still got quite a bit of news. We're going to discuss the incoming supply shock, the lowest amount of Bitcoin we have seen on the exchanges in literally years, since 2018. Then we'll discuss the degen trader getting wiped out for another 25 mil, high leverage trade. And then we'll discuss the latest with Elon Bitcoin Maxi. That's right. And the latest controversy between Trump and Elon and all the goodness, and badness and everything in between, the good, the bad, the ugly. But yeah, Bitcoin supply shock, send it. Let's break this baby down. The Bitcoin supply on exchanges has dropped to near 7-year lows, falling below 11% for the first time. There's our signal, Nibbinator, since 2018. The peak occurred in March of 2020 after Novid, when over 17% of the Bitcoin supply was held on the exchanges. Since then, over 6% of the total supply, or roughly 1.26 million Bitcoin, has been withdrawn from the exchanges. Numbers don't lie. Check the scoreboard. Thank you, Glassnode. Now, Bitcoin investors are holding onto their coins at the highest level in over 2 years, according to the latest exchange flows. That's right. The ratio measuring the volume of the Bitcoin flowing to the exchanges relative to the on-chain network activity has fallen to the lowest reading since early 2023, signaling subdued exchange deposits despite the rising prices. As of June 2025, the 30-day moving average of the ratio sits near 1.2, well below the 365-day average, approaching the -1 standard deviation. But historically, such low levels have marked periods of strong conviction amongst the Bitcoin holders. Diamond hands, where you at? With investors preferring the cold storage to the trading. That's right, because holding your Bitcoin in cold storage will outperform the trader. Ask James Wynn. Just saying. This reduces available supply, with fewer coins potentially up for sale even as the Bitcoin hits new all-time highs in this bitch. Just saying. The rise of the institutional custody solutions is another major factor behind the Bitcoin decreasing supply across the exchanges. Instead of the public exchanges, large financial institutions, BlackRock, hence the lizard folk, can control the financial world. Fidelity, Franklin, prefer the third-party custody platforms. I expect nothing less from the lizard folk. Coinbase Prime, for example, reported over 212 of the billion of the assets under custody just in the first quarter of the year. They say the inflows from the ETF issuers, corporations, and high net worth individuals. And guess what? Do you know what an ultra high net worth individual is? 30 million liquid net worth. Where you at, Bitcoin diamond hands? Make some motherfucking noise. Just saying. The Coinbase crypto exchange, on the other hand, witnessed over 500 million, that's $500 million worth of the outflows in the same quarter. Why is that? Because people are wising up. Never keep on the exchanges what you can't afford to lose. No different than the banksters with the cartels. Never keep at JP Morgan Chase in the bank what you can't afford to lose. And keep it that simple. You've been warned. The outflows have continued in the second quarter, including 761 million worth of the withdrawals witnessed on June 5th. I dare say you ain't seen nothing yet. Do you know when a legitimate Bitcoin supply shock comes, Bitcoin can shoot up by a factor of $100,000 overnight? I'll say that again. When a true Bitcoin supply shock takes place, Bitcoin has the potential to shoot up $100,000. Hence the Omega candle in a single day on the daily chart. Let that one sink in. Just saying. ETFs have attracted a large portion of the Bitcoin to the coffers. Net worth of the asset managers for the spot Bitcoin ETFs was $44 billion as of June 5th. And the numbers continue to go crazy. BlackRock done already shattered every ETF record in ETF history. ETFs didn't even go live for the Bitcoin spot since January 11th of last year. A year and a half, BlackRock now has over 600,000 Bitcoin. That's more than Michael Saylor. Collectively, just BlackRock and Michael Saylor, just Strategy B and BlackRock, collectively have 1.2 million Bitcoin. Let that sink in, considering there can only ever be 21 million Bitcoin, 1.1 million belong to Satoshi, 5 million lost, gone, stagnated, stalemated, forever. You know what I mean? Very limited supply, and the numbers are only going to get more and more scarce as time goes by. That's why you have countries like the United States of America now stockpiling Bitcoin, right? That's why you have executive orders. That's why you have Bitcoin country with Bukele. That's why you have the mayor of Panama adopting a Bitcoin strategic reserve. That's why you have sovereign wealth funds of the Middle East in Abu Dhabi with $500 million plus in Bitcoin. You have countries yet to make the big announcement. Game theory in full effect. But first, we got to get through this story. Crypto leverage trader James Nguyen loses 25 million on a Bitcoin bet. And we've been covering him quite recently because he's been quite entertaining, to say the least. So let's break this baby down. The millionaire leverage crypto trader James Nguyen has been liquidated of nearly 25 million in Bitcoin after betting with leverage that the crypto's price would rise. Isn't it ironic? When you do that publicly, you always get liquidated, it seems. It's like the market makers, their only intent is to liquidate the big positions. Things that make you go, But anyways, Nguyen was liquidated for 240 Bitcoin and had manually closed part of the position to lower the liquidation price. So let me ask a question to all of my live viewers. Do you think it would have been more advantageous for him to just say, I'm going to hodl these 240 Bitcoin, or bet fucking 40x leverage that's going to go up and get liquidated if Bitcoin drops $2,000? Please, I'll read those answers out loud when we're done with the story. Now, Nguyen still held 770 Bitcoin worth 80 million at the liquidation price of 104. Data from Hyperscan shows the trader is currently sitting on an unrealized loss of $1 million on his 40x Bitcoin long position. I'm going to say it again. Doing anything with 40x leverage is retarded. There's like a 99% chance you get liquidated. I just made that number up, but it's probably accurate, just saying. After the liquidation, Nguyen alleged the market was being manipulated against him. Now, it makes you wonder, why do it so publicly, knowing the market is crooked? It's like asking for trouble, right? He had separately requested donations to support his cause of exposing market manipulation. I'm going to say you're a sucker if you send him any donations. Anyone who has 100 million in positions or capital and you're sending them donations, you need to check in the mirror, because I personally think your family deserves that crypto you sent them more than James Nguyen, who is a degenerate high leverage trader. But that's just my 2 Satoshis. Nguyen rose to prominence after making a string of large high leverage bets on Bitcoin through the trading platform Hyperliquid. And in my opinion, this may have all just been a marketing publicity stunt for Hyperliquid, because who got all the attention as he was making these retarded trades? Hyperliquid, Hyperliquid, Hyperliquid. So that's been in the back of my mind, just reading between the lines now. He initiated $1.25 billion bet May 24th. We covered it here in the show, going long on Bitcoin with 40x leverage. So naturally, we're like, wow, he must know something the rest of us don't know. But no, he just started losing massive losses. A day later, Nguyen closed his long position and instead opened 110 million short. What a fucking clown. I don't respect that. I don't respect people who short Bitcoin personally, but that's just me. On May 29th, Arcam said Nguyen had suffered a loss of 100 million over the course of the week. Good for him. You don't short Bitcoin, you dork. You can't short, you dork. We can't afford that. Now, unfazed by the recent losses and wanting to make $1 billion, and meanwhile, people are sending him donations, Nguyen went on to initiate a second 100 million leverage long position. That's like me saying, well, guys, please send me money. I want to do a 40x long, and I want to teach the market makers a lesson. Just send me your money, please, and I'll send you back double, like Michael Saylor promises on the YouTube scams. Now, obviously, I'm joking, YouTube, so go fuck yourself. After Nguyen's 100 million liquidation, Binance founder CZ proposed creating a dark pool perpetual swap decentralized exchange, which would combat market manipulation. CZ said due to the transparency of the DEXs, people can see the orders in real time, which can lead to front running. Precisely. CZ is a smart man, hence why he's one of the richest in all of crypto and the richest man to ever go behind a prison. Ironically enough, but he is out, just FYI. Slippages and other issues, and that issue even more severe, perpetual DEXs due to the liquidation. But anyways, now for our feature story of the day, quoting your high priest, Max Keiser. Elon is on the brink of going full Bitcoin maximalist. We're going to be discussing this as well as the drama and controversy currently between Trump and Elon. Elon just called out Trump for being on the Epstein PDF file list. It don't get no lower than that. So lots to share here. Let's break this baby down. First and foremost, here's the tweet from Max off the back of the tweet from Elon, starting with the tweet from Elon shared yesterday. He wrote, interest payments already consume 25% of all government revenue. If the massive deficit spending continues, there will only be money for interest payments and nothing else. No social security, no medical, no defense, nothing. So Max responded to that with the bombshell. Elon is on the brink of going full Bitcoin maximalist. Let's fucking go. Also, Max wrote this. He put Trump's plan, number 1, remove the debt ceiling. Number 2, print trillions of dollars. Number 3, see the Bitcoin price smash 1 million. And number 4, then buy billions in Bitcoin. So United States, why wait? Why beat around the bush when you can start stacking the bitty now? You can buy 10 times the amount than when it's at 1 million. Just saying. Max also tweeted here that 2.2 million is in play. Want to know why? Guaranteed they're going to continue to print. That's all they do is print fiat currency. You know what I mean? And what's going to happen to Bitcoin? It's going up, up, up. The doing, 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 quoting Chandy. And also, Max wrote, USD stablecoins are a crutch. Trump thinks he can offload trillions of increasingly worthless T-bills on the global new market. So he's skyrocketing the US debt. Bitcoin 2.2 million in play. And this was off the back of a tweet from Swan. Elon is sounding the alarm of the U.S. debt. America's in the fast lane to debt slavery. He's not wrong. The math is unsustainable. So Elon does make a point. The debt is unsustainable. So is this a hint that he's going to embrace Bitcoin maximalism? I'm skeptical, but you guys let me know your thoughts. And also some more tweets. Samson put, Elon, it's time to go all in on Bitcoin. Tesla can take Bitcoin for payments again and implement a Bitcoin treasury strategy. SpaceX can give a discount on launches paid in Bitcoin. Force a hard money standard on the money printers. And here's the bombshell of all bombshell tweets Elon wrote addressing Trump. Already 15 million views plus. I bet you if I refresh it, it's way higher. Let's see. 578 hearts already. And if you don't know, this is Elon's platform. So he has the biggest following. And yes, now 64 fucking million views. And he just shared this literally 2 hours ago. Timestamp, proof of work, 3:10 p.m. June 5th, 2025. 64.6 million views. Elon wrote, time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. I repeat, real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump. And he also put, mark this post for the future. The truth will come out. So he's doubling down on the claim that Trump is a PDF file, which is the lowest of lows. I mean, I don't even have to add to that. People put game on. The war, it continues. Trumpster versus the Musker. And holy shit, Chandy just dropped the ultimate super. Holy moly, I should say. Thank you, Chandy. She just hit me with $111 super. Obviously, you didn't have to do that, but thank you. That's very kind of you. Holy moly. Get me out of Vegas, Jesus. But yeah, this was the bombshell of all bombshells. I did not have that on my bingo card for today, that Elon would be warring publicly with Donald Trump, our current POTUS. Elon also wrote, is it time to create a new political party in America that actually represents the 80% in the middle? There's a poll. And let's actually go to his timeline, but let's interject with the news regarding Max Keiser saying that Elon may go full Bitcoin maxi. And then we'll get into some more of the tweeting of Elon and Trumpster, and then we'll get back to the Q&A. The idea that Elon might soon align himself with hardline Bitcoin maxi stopped being a fringe meme overnight. It began when long-term time Bitcoin advocate, Your Holiness Max Keiser, shared that the Tesla SpaceX chief executive is on the brink of going full Bitcoin maxi. Max's claim was prompted by a salvo of posts from Musk condemning the Republican One Big Beautiful Bill Act, a sweeping reconciliation measure that would extend the 2017 tax cuts and raise the statutory debt ceiling by roughly $5 trillion. The Congressional Budget Office's score shows that the bill would widen primary deficits by about $2.4 trillion over the next decade, swelling to roughly $3 trillion once interest costs are included. Elon framed the legislation as the tipping point for an already dangerous fiscal trajectory. We pay over $100 billion per month in interest. I repeat, we pay over $100 billion per month in interest on the national debt, $1.2 trillion per year. That's about 25% of the government revenue, he posted, warning that if unchecked, deficit spending continues, there will only be money for interest payments and nothing else. So guess who gets paid? The Fed. Ironic enough. No Social Security, no medical, no defense, nothing. In a separate post, he blasted the U.S. as being in the fast lane to debt slavery. And I dare say it's all by design. What are your thoughts, broskies? And while Musk figures reflect forward-looking calculations rather than Treasury official $909 billion net interest line item for the fiscal 2024, the direction is corroborated by the CBO projections that put the annual net interest outlays at $950 billion next year and well past $1.8 trillion by 2035 if the policy remains unchanged. So the exchange that lit up Bitcoin circles came when the Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong posted, if the electorate doesn't hold Congress accountable to reducing the deficit and start paying down the debt, Bitcoin is going to take over as a reserve currency. I love Bitcoin, but a strong America is also super important for the world. We need to get our finances under control. I repeat, America, get your motherfucking finances under control. Musk responded with a solitary U.S. flag emoji with an acknowledgement many interpreted as a silent assent. Bitcoiners quickly seized on the signal. Investor Corey Bates urged it is time to utter the safe word, reviving Musk's 2020 quip, Bitcoin is my safe word. Ironic enough. Now, William Clemente mused that Musk's Bitcoin Maxi arc is next, with Pompliano arguing the biggest middle finger Elon Musk could give to the establishment and politicians. Stack some Bitcoin, brother. We'll see. And author Adam Livingston added, Bitcoin neutralizes debt slavery by anchoring capital to the finite and corruptible energy. You can't inflate 21 million. Now keep in mind, Tesla already owns 9,720 of the bitty, a potential position marked at just over $1 billion. Currently, year-end 2024, now estimated to be $1.25 billion. Obviously, the Bitcoin price has gone up for the rally, but the company has neither added that stock since late 2024 nor adopted it as a functional treasury reserve like MicroStrategy. Musk's latest comments stop short of announcing such a pivot, yet they place him rhetorically alongside figures, also arguing that Bitcoin is the only credible hedge against fiscal prolificacy. So ironic enough, the only obvious solution, Elon, is Bitcoin. But when are you going to admit that yourself? Let's actually go to Elon's wall and check out the latest controversy and drama, if he posted anything new from the time I started the stream regarding calling out Trump. So yeah, the pinned post is it time to create a new political party in America that actually represents the 80% of the middle? I'm going to put yes just to see the result. 81.9% said yes. He shared that poll more recently, 3 hours ago, and already 2.1 million votes. How many people follow Elon? 220 million people. 220 million followers. Good Lord. But yeah, again, I'm going to reiterate the tweet that broke the internet. Wasn't expecting it. 67 million views. Time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump. I want you guys to tell me if you agree or disagree. Do you think he's capping and he's just upset with Trump? Do you think this is all just political theater? What do you think is really going on behind closed doors? And I guess this is what kicked it off and pushed them over the edge. Trump wrote, Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do. And he went fucking crazy. And Elon put such an obvious lie, so sad. And then it seems Elon either went crazy with exposing Trump, and again, he even doubles down, mark this post for the future, the truth will come out. And with that being shared, I'm going to get back to the comments. I want to say thank you again, Chandy, for the super duper super at $111. This gong strike is for you. And I know, don't judge the striker by its cover, please. Holy moly! All I can say is even I'm shocked at the events being shared publicly here today. Holy shit.